Okay, so welcome everybody to today's webinar. My name is Rhys Lewis, and I'd like to thank you all for taking time out of your very busy schedules to listen to what myself and Christopher would like to share with you all today. So first things first, there's a few questions coming through to ask about audio. Good, because we haven't been speaking. So what I'd like to do first of all is just to check that you can hear myself and Chris. Maybe you can just use the chat box to let us know where you're dialing in from, maybe your city or which company you're dialing in from today, and we can just check that everyone can hear us loud and clear and that you can see our main screen. So let's hear it. Great, so we've got London, Cardiff, Gothenburg. Excellent. Oh, we've got quite an international audience, so good job that you're Chris is going to be delivering the talk today in English. He did want to, I think, go Swedish, but we'll stick with English, thankfully. So that's great. Perfect. So I can see all of that coming through. Again, thank you and welcome to today's webinar, where the title is BIM in the Arctic Circle. So excited to learn more myself, looking at the world's tallest timber building and how Revisto is playing a key part in that. So for those of you who know me, my name is Rhys Lewis. I'm our development director for Revisto's European branch. Thankfully, it's not me talking to you today. We've actually got our VIP client, Christoffer Sundberg from White Arkitekter, who's going to talk to you all about how they've been using Revisto and the key roles it's been playing with this project so far. So what we're going to do today, the session is probably going to be around the 45-minute mark, and we look to take questions then after that for 10-15 minutes or so, depending on how many we get. The session will be recorded and shared with you after today's session, and if you do need access to that, we'll share our details at the end of the session for you to request that. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome and introduce Christopher. Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hearing you.
Perfect.
Hear me?
So, loud and clear.
Great.
So, Christopher, over to you. Let's hear it.
Thank you, Rhys. Hey, everyone. So my name is Christoffer Sundberg. I work as something we call a methodology manager, digital design and BIM at White Arkitekter in Sweden. I'm currently in Stockholm. The project is not just going to come there shortly. I'm a building engineer from start. I've been working here for a couple of years now, and yeah, I'm going to start off actually by giving you a short introduction to our company. But first of all, I'd like to say it's a great pleasure to talk to you guys today. It's always fun to share some knowledge, how we can coordinate our projects better. I'd like to say thanks to our client, Skellefteå kommun, and Hent also, who's my client in the project, who's building this project. And also thank to Rhys and the Revisto team for making such a great tool and solving my problems every day. Yeah, let's get to it. So first of all, short introduction to White. Probably some of you know us. I think we're the third largest architects firm in Europe by now. We have we have projects in both in Europe and Sweden, of course, and UK, America, Africa, pretty all over. Our vision is to design a better built environment with people in focus and to innovate sustainable ways of living. We've been around for, I think, 67 years now. We started off in Gothenburg with a guy called Sidney White, and it was back in 1955. We own ourselves, which is really great, I think. So we have at the day, I think 1,616 staff members and 122 partners of those. So we own ourselves. I think it's good, so we can put our money where we want. We have a lot of research and development going on, and work as a big collective. There's a few numbers. Total employees is 916. Yeah, this is Swedish crown, so I think this is differs, but yeah. So our result was in 2017 roughly 4 million euros. So there's a something to measure against. We have a lot of disciplines. Myself, I work in digital design at the Stockholm office. We have culture and leisure, environment, interior design, a lot of sustainability, great sustainability department here, doing a lot of analysis and pushing our projects to be as sustainable as they can be. A lot of landscaping, urban design. We're going to look at today is a culture center up in Skellefteå, which is a project of mine and many others here. Just shortly, we have something called the White Research Lab. It's something we can do because we own ourselves, and it's a practice-based research department where we try out a lot of sustainable analysis, parametric design, informed design, is pushing our projects to be as good as they are, trying a lot of digital tools in this department. They have three key themes: equitable architecture, resource efficiency, and informed design. If you'd like to know more about White Arkitekter, here's our website. Feel free to join in. And that's it. Let's go to the actual webinar. So don't worry, I'm going to be speaking quite quick about this because I want to get as much time as possible inside Revisto and try and show you the demo part of this, not just show some slides. So I'm going to have a pretty high tempo. And this webinar, as I said, it's divided in two. So the first is this presentation part, and then we're going to move into the demo part. Me and Rhys is going to try to work a little bit in our project and show how the workflow is. But yeah, let's start out with the presentations. So the agenda is looks like this. We're going to look at the implementation with Revisto and the workflow today. How realistic materials can be used with the inside the coordination tool, and just a quick look at how we review our drawings with Revisto, and how we're using stamps and issue tracker to communicate in the project. Yeah, overall the communication that runs through this software, and also a little bit how we can connect Revisto to production. And I'm going to finish up with some challenges we've been bumping into and the benefits at the end. I don't know how many of you who have tried Revisto or seen it, but it's a short explanation of what it is. If you ever tried Naviswork or Solibri, imagine that on steroids, looking awesome. It's cloud-based, so you're online all the time. You can chat with each other throughout the 3D models, hopefully BIM models. And yeah, an awesome tool we've been using for a couple of years now at White Arkitekter. You're gonna get the picture when we move into the program itself.
I can go with that. Yeah, Chris, that's a great explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So yeah, short introduction about the project. I think some of you also seen our post on Instagram, maybe a little bit curious about timber building itself. So first of all, I have to say there's a little lie in the title to today. We just wanted to get as many participants as possible. So the town where the project is not actually in the Arctic Circle. We're roughly 15 miles, I think, south of the border to the Arctic Circle. But yeah, for a lot of you, it's pretty close. I think it almost counts. It's really cold winters, pretty dark also during the winters, but beautiful nature up here. Me, myself, I'm also from this part of Sweden, the northern part, a lot of forest, a lot of snow. And if you ever come to this part of Sweden, make sure you visit this town and a lot of on the high coast also. So this is a town. This is called Skellefteå. I think this is pretty similar to a lot of towns along the coast in northern Sweden. They have, I think it's around 40 to 50,000 people living here, and a huge river running through the city. Yeah, they want to be like a pioneers of timber building, and so they have already built a really long timber bridge over this river. And timber building itself is becoming, as you know, I think, really hot. In Norway, we've seen the tallest timber building yet, built in Oslo. It's also built by Hent. And in Canada is pushing the boundaries also, and is even starting to move against Asia and Japan. That is just a concept image, but it's getting more and more of the sustainable structure material, and it's great. I love timber myself. I think it's really fun to work with. And we'll see also, I know this tower in Norway is really high. I'm going to see if they are the highest or we're the highest when we're finished. But we are outstanding the most two highest timber buildings in the world at the moment. I mean, we have 20 floors in our building. Skellefteå have a long tradition of building with timber. A lot of this kind of houses exist around Skellefteå where people still live. And the reason of that, of course, is the access. They have a huge access up here in northern Sweden to timber, and the production line of this timber timber material is not far from this city, so transportation will not be long. And it's great that we can use this local material, as you can say. So we, as an architectural firm, actually won this project for a couple of years ago now. I think it's 2015. With this proposal, it's called Side by Side, I think. And from there, our proposal was included a city library, 2 art galleries, some theaters, and a big theater. You will see it later. And a hotel, roughly 150 rooms, conference center, and at the moment we're at 28,000 square meters at the area. So that's a program. You can see the culture center here to the left. There's a river to the right. So this is at the center of this town. This is the main square is right in front of it. So this will be a new core of the city. Yeah, really great new add to the city, and also the new train station is going to come to the left there. You can see it. Here are just some quick images before we move into more Revisto looking slides. Here are some new renderings you can see of the project. A lot of timber. We want to expose this the structure, of course, to really beautiful. Personally, I think. This can be multi-use of a lot of areas, dinners and so on. Here you see a picture of the biggest theater. It will be around 1,200 seatings, I think. And all in wood, of course. Here's from a view from the new train station, which you will. So the first thing you will see when you enter Skellefteå by train is this. I think it looks great. All right. If you want to see more images, just look at our website or Skellefteå's website, or I think the project itself has a own website. So just go online and check out more if you want to. All right. So how was it to implement this tool? So for a lot of people, this was a new tool. I think we have tried it before early in the project. This is the Swedish stage of designing houses. So this differs. Some have Reba stages, some have other stuff. This is in Sweden. So from the competition, I think it took almost to the beginning of the real designing. If you compare it to Reba 3 or something, I think. And from there, we started to use Revisto for the team. We were about 15 people at that time. And from then, it has expanded a lot. So I introduced the tool back then. It was 2 years ago. And then we entered phase 1 and phase 2. That's when our entrepreneur came in, Hent, was going to build the building. So we were not sure if we would continue with it or not, but I showed what we have done, and they thought it looked great. So this is a pilot project for them also. This is the first Revisto project for Hent, which is good to know. And they are using also Solibri and Bluebeam for doing review. So this is new for them, a new tool for a lot of people, basically. This is like, if you want to compare, so in the first stage we mainly did 2D drawings. We moved over to 3D and BIM models. Phase 1 was a little bit unclear, but now we're totally on with BIM models. Everyone is great structure of the models, a lot of information, looking great. You're going to see it later. We had the Tekla business guy for Europe, I think, here a couple of weeks ago, and he thought it was some of the best Tekla models he has seen. inside Revisto. And yeah, we are in phase 2 as we speak also, and we will be in phase 2 until this fall. Some workflows we have done throughout the project is, of course, we work with BIM for a long time now. A lot of sustainability connected to this. Virtual reality has been used multiple times. Visualization is done as we go in the project. Coordination is being used in Revisto. It's going to look at it today, and a lot of dialogue tools also being used, and quantitative databases, and so on and so on. We're going to focus on coordination. So the vision for the coordination was it's going to be an involving process. It's going to be fun to coordinate this project, and they're also going to have a paper-free construction site, not drawing-free, but paper-free. So you're not going to have physical papers. It's ambition. And of course, structured and correct information, both for the client that's going to build this house, and also for the facility management afterwards. It's going to be, they have to keep track of the information in this project. And yes, so from that, how do we have an involving the reviewing process? And that's when I showed Revisto for the first time for Hent, my client. And they thought it looked good. They thought it looked really great. So they said, let's try it out. Let's try it out with the main disciplines. It's going to be the clients and all the structure guys, and the architects, and the MEP. So that was the start for the project. We were 20 people at that time. But as we went on and designing, this grew quite quickly, and everyone wanted to get in because it looks so fun, and it looks so great. People are using it for the meetings, and especially using it when they are designing, and to have like multiple monitors. You have Revit or Tekla on one screen, and you have Revisto on the other. So you use it as you go design this building. So from 20 we went to 52 people who were pretty quick. It just took 2 months, I think. And we are 14 different companies right now using Revisto every day. And as that happened so quick, and I had a feeling that it would, so I were pretty hard on to have a good implementation phase for this project. And I felt that it's not enough just to introduce this tool and think it would just fly. It does at the beginning, but as we have so many people, so many disciplines, it's a pretty big project, and we want to keep a high level of BIM. I actually wrote a separate attachment that clarifying all the steps and all the requirements, all the mandates for Revisto, for the communication actually. You can also write it for emails and telephones and protocols and PDFs and Excels, but that would be insanely hard. So here are all the requirements for the Revisto communication in this project. This is a Swedish, so I will show you later how this works. But the main thing to know is that this includes the basics of Revisto, how the tool is used overall, but also the project-specific mandates regarding what 2D information should be involved in Revisto, what 3D information should be included in Revisto, and when you communicate inside this project with 50 other people, what information do you need to fill out to have everything working? Like the minimum requirements for communication. And also, you're going to see this later, what stamps are. Stamps is a great way of predefine settings in an issue. So you don't need to fill out all the information at once. So they're going to come into these stamps later on. Yeah, some rough numbers. So 14 companies, as I said, 52 active users. We're up to 41 users-ish every week. Some people are off to vacation, some doesn't work, but 41 people every week, 52 active users, all in the same model on the cloud. That's really powerful. Here are also some numbers. So the implementation took me, I created one guiding document, as you saw. We have 2 BIM kickoff meetings and 2 specific Revisto training sessions for some companies. And after that, I follow this up with sending out some Revisto project newsletters, actually newsletters about BIM, the project, and I try to include some tips and tricks when you use Revisto, like have you thought of this function, or did you know that you can see this in 2D, and so on. You're going to see that also later. I think this people appreciate that. So you keep everyone evolving in this software. And from that, with those things, I think we're pretty much up to speed now. All people know how the software works. So the learning curve, I think, is extremely short. When I try to implement both Solibri and Navis work and BIMX, some other programs when I was working in ArchiCAD, it was so much harder than implementing Revisto. Yeah, okay. So the workflow in Revisto after implementation. So how do we work today? It looks like this. So all the disciplines they're using and designing and managing their own BIM models, they are uploading them to the CDE, the Common Data Environment, every week. From that, me as a BIM manager, I'm managing everything and taking it into Revisto. This is one workflow. You can do it in other ways also. Pretty much, I think you can do this faster, of course, when you have direct export from your software into Revisto. But I choose to do this. It has to do with quality assurance and so on. And yeah, let's take a closer look. So how does it look for me when I'm getting into Revisto with the models? So a lot of people using Revit in this project, which is great. I think we have, as you can avoid as much translating formats is good. And Tekla is the only actual other software we have. We have one consultant in AutoCAD also, but they're not included in Revisto. So Autodesk Revit and Tekla goes into Revisto. Actually, Tekla models are delivered in IFC. I take that into Revit first to do the translation to the correct categories and also quality assurance. And I'm also going to show you why. This is also one step more why I take it into Revit before entering Revisto. I'm going to come to that. But this is the main workflow, and for the coordination also, I am using Solibri to do the collision coordination, and from Solibri, I take the BCF file if I want to create issues from clashes in Solibri. It's a kind of mix. I think a lot of clashes is so obvious you can create them directly into Revisto. But if it's multiple issues or multiple clashes, it's great to have the BCF import from Solibri. Yeah, and this is some numbers also on the users. I'm not going to stick this picture so long. You're going to see this afterwards also. But a little bit roughly the numbers, how many people are from the different disciplines. And yeah, this is why also I bumped that IFC from Tekla into Revit, is to have realistic material. My first reaction, of course, is finally, it's so, if you want to have an involving process of reviewing, to have realistic materials is so good for both the clients and the architects and everyone that is not also involved in the designing software. That's just from outside to actually have timber that looks like timber and steel that looks like steel and so on is great for understanding the project. That's the reason also I go from Tekla to IFC to actually do a transfer project standards. I have a template file for materials in Revit that I actually just override everything when I have imported IFC to Revit. So I'm not spending hours to get correct materials on the IFC. I think it takes 5 minutes to get all total structure model completely correct with materials. And also just a tip for you, if you're using Revisto, the Revisto editor is great also for editing materials. I've done it in a couple of times to get some materials correctly inside Revisto, but it doesn't have to be harder than this. So just from Revit directly into Revisto, have your materials correctly, and you will have a great looking project. Of course, it's not a render, but that this is the real-time look of your coordination model is extremely valuable for this project, I think, and for all involved. And if you're going to use materials in your project, think of keep materials down to just roughly 20. I think I've tried to pushing up a bit more, but it doesn't add that much value, and just gets the model heavier. But I think we had 24 different materials in this project. It covers 90% of the surfaces, and the texture is also pretty low in size. And it used the Revisto predefined materials in Revisto editor. Those are great. Those work great. The concrete here is that actually the Revisto concrete. All right, let's take a quick look at drawings in Revisto. So what we do, so all of our reviewing is being managed in Revisto. The first thing we can look at is the 2D drawings. I'm going to show that also in the demo part. We are reviewing this. You can include sheets, PDFs directly from Revit, or you can import them afterwards. And you're using these stamps and issues to send out your markups, send your issues, communicate, chat, and so on. This is, as I said, it's a pilot project for Hent. So they are also using Bluebeam on the side. So we have two programs for reviewing our drawings, but everything works great. So here we have, I think, 50-50 of comments with Revisto and Bluebeam. On the other hand, when we move over to 3D and stamps and issues, we are 100% in Revisto. So this is the required information that I have. I think this is enough, like who created the issue, who's the issue for, and describe location where the issue is at, and some metadata to have our public presets working in Revisto. So those end up in a good structured way, and you're going to see that also when we move into Revisto. This is the stamps. This was introduced for a year ago, I think, by Revisto. Great thing. This is actually issues, but they are predefined, and you can have a new look on them. So you can have this little thumbnail, I can call it maybe, on who's the issue made of, who's the issue for, or what is the issue about, and you can predefine who's it for. You can predefine stamps and tags, so you get that metadata right from the beginning. And you can also have predefined watchers, really good. Me and Rhys is going to try this out and show you guys. We also have a visualization stamp if you want to attach some QR codes or 360 panoramas into a project for a specific location. I can show you that also later. The communication that's being done in Revisto, of course, the issues is the main part. This is the communication around all the problems we have in the project. Everything we want to communicate are done through the issues. This is easier to show you guys than having these slides, so I'm going to move on. We also, some other communication we have is the changes. So we have no separate change management for this, not 3D revision class or anything. As we do a change in the project, we have Revisto on our other monitor, and we track that change in Revisto instantly. So all people can have real-time communication around the changes. So we don't have to wait for a model every Friday or Monday and so on. So they know exactly what's being done at the same time you change it. So that's really, really good. You have this predefined, as you see, these are the predefined presets for issues. Questions and IDs is also being communicated here. We have stamps for this. So if you have a question or something, like, can we move these to the right, or what's this for, and so on. You're using these stamps to communicate with your colleagues. You can chat around everything, attach PDFs and so on in the chat. So we're keeping track of every issue and every question, every ID, every changes in Revisto as we go in the project. I want to see if we can look at the dashboards. I just want to show you that if you go online, you can track everything in dashboards to get some numbers on how the project is moving on. Like, we have split up this project in 5 different areas. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can see how many issues do we have in each area, and that is being managed by tags. So which area does it belong to? Then we tag that issue with that. Some other fun, this is just a fun thing. Not everyone using the dashboards online. We have a pretty wide span of generations of people using it, all from 20 years old to 70 years old in the project. So the main dashboards is actually included inside Revisto as a little side cabin. And you have some predefined views, viewpoints as they call it. you can just click on and see how the project is moving on. This is updated every week. Pretty fun little add to the model. And also something we've been doing lately is I get a lot of questions like when is the model updated, or is this done, or what's the phone number to this guy, or everything. So I created this like big sheet. I call it the sheet of communication. And this is a sheet for where you have both the size of the model, the organization, the disciplines, and all the overriding colors. Some upcoming deliveries, when it's the next big delivery. And also I'm using it. I have an own predefined stamp. So when I click out that stamp for the week, you see the green ones in the top of this sheet. When I click that out, everyone will get a notification that the model is updated. So I don't need to send out any separate emails for this. So they get a Revisto notification when the model is updated for some reason. And you can also see the size of the curve at the top of this sheet. This is a great add, little nice tweak to Revisto, which you can communicate a whole lot more through the software. Yeah, let's look shortly how we have also connected Revisto to production. One thing, of course, is we added a crane, the big crane that is gonna lift up all the modules for the hotel. We also some predefined viewpoints for this. So you can see the crane from different angles. You can see it also sectionized in plane. And you can also see the working area in this grayish circle on the right to see where's the crane moving over in the project. This is the main cranes. This is one thing we've added into Revisto. Another thing is that as we are building this house, we have a parameter in a Tekla and Revit that says if this is already built, or is this sent to the construction site, or is this sent to the prefabrication factory. So we set up a new Revisto project for this actually to see how the project is moving forward. Based on this parameter. So if you want to check, if the guys want to check out how the project is at the moment, they can just open this Revisto project and see that, yeah, okay, this is already built, or this is sent to the prefab factory, and then they got to hurry up or something. And last of all, this is not done yet, but probably we'll do this pretty soon. We have a 360 panorama camera that we are looking to bring up to Skellefteå to have on-site feedback. So Revisto has a 360 panorama support now in the chat, so you can attach these images in the chat. So what we're going to do is that we're going to add issues at the same location in Revisto as it is in the reality. Then we're going to see the on-site feedback straight into our computers where we sit, if it's in Gothenburg or Stockholm, Skellefteå or Norway. You can see on-site feedback straightly into your computer every day. We haven't done this yet, but we're looking to do it. This is the end of the presentation part. So the challenge, yes, of course, is keeping the model up to date and relevant especially for me. We are 52 users. We have only one model. It's a huge amount of project data to keep in track. Sometimes issues gets old, or they're being forgotten or some reason. So if we want to get this to work, to be in this cloud model, I think you have to have this BIM manager that actually cares a lot of this Revisto model, and you have to do it together. You have to follow the required information setup, and if you do this, then everything's going to work out great. Some other challenges, of course, is the implementation. It took this guiding document. I think it took also these training sessions was pretty necessary, and being consistent. We had over 2,000 Revisto issues to keep updated and relevant. We had 12 months of planning and design, and zero revision management outside Revistos. Everything has to be in Revisto. Don't move to your email, don't move to your Excel or Paint or whatever you're using to do your revision. Keep it in Revisto, then we're going to keep it all in track. Another last thing is the first time factor. We have 40 new Revisto users. We have 14 different IT systems. Sometimes it's a firewall or something that doesn't allow the latest version of Revisto. But everything of that is being sold, but it is a first-time factor. And also endly we have Bluebeam and another software for also doing review. So this is the challenges that I've been bumping into. It's good, maybe good for you guys to know if you are going to implement Revisto self. And we move on to the benefits, which totally outweighs the challenges every day. It's the one source of information. When you're being consistent, when you are filling out these issues with the metadata and so on, and explaining what the problem is about, then you have 2,000 issues in one interface. That's insane. I think that's so powerful. So you can filter the track. You can like Google, what do I have to do today based on dates or priority, or let's look at what that guy has to do over at the MEP, or you can like search everything and you have everything in one place. So that's really good. And some other benefits, of course, is the administration. The administration is so little for me as a BIM manager when using Revisto, and all the people, they doesn't have to download anything. Everything, they just open up Revisto and it's already downloaded. You have 52 users with different user rights, so everyone can have, some are viewers, some are collaborators. They can do a lot. Some can actually affect the 3D models and so on. Revisto is optimizing this data extremely good. If you're using Navisworks or Solibri, it's getting pretty heavy, but Revisto is great with this gaming technology. And yeah, it's 7 days a week, real-time communication. You can pick up your iPad or computer anytime on a Sunday, or you can write something and it instantly goes to the correct person. And also the visual feedback is important, I think, for this involving coordination process, that it looks good, it's realistic. You get people engaged in the coordination. The people want to make sure that their model is looking good and looking great. And you can also divide this model into sprints. I'm going to show you right now. There's a quick coming up. We haven't done that much Revisto VR. I just want to give it a shout out that it actually it exists. We're going to try it out more during the spring. And also having identification for objects in the model. This is going to come in Revisto 5.0, I think. It's called search by parameter value. You can search anything in Revisto and get this highlighted. Looking forward to that. And also hotel modules, designing them is kind of coming up. I think we're going to do a lot of nice things using Revisto to do this coordination pretty smoothly for the hotel modules. In the future, this is me sending out some things to Revisto. I would love to see these kind of things as Revisto is evolving. Of course, the search by parameter value, the automatic dimension mode, thumbnails, issues and maps, AR support, more CDEs integrations, maybe not Swedish, but who knows. And duplicate dashboards in charts will also be good. The project is going to be finished 2021, and yeah, let's move into the demo part. Gonna close this down. All right, so here's the project. We are inside Revisto now. So I'm not going to spend that much time talking about the functions. You have the section cut, of course. You can filter your objects here. You can take measurements. You have your predefined viewpoints. This is the split up in the project. This is the sprints. This is first, second, which we are completed with, and this is the third, which we are in now. This is the big theater. So as you can see here, we have the big theater. This is a pretty quick way of getting around with this viewpoints. We have the fourth, and the hotel is the finishing part. We also have predefined views with our floor plans, the drawings attached to them. Some of you have seen this feature. It's great. You can add these 2D drawings over the 3D, so you can see old models, which you probably can't in Revit or Tekla, and run this smoothly. So this is being used a lot, and also for the client, the structure. You can see here is let's see here. So here's the crane I was talking about. This is the placement of the crane. Here's an overview of the crane. We have it south and west and so on. And this is actually a view from the little cabin up in the crane. You can see a good overview from the box. So let's move into the issues. So here's the issues. These are the way we communicate. So when we see stuff that is wrong or a clash or something, we communicate through issues. We have the issues up here, we have the stamps up here. So when we see something, we just create it, we fill it out with information. Who made it is automatically filled out. Who's it for is really important. And does anybody have to be a watcher of this? And what are the tags that we have to use? So we're using disciplines as tags. We're using the sprints in the project as tags. And also, if you want to take this up to the coordination meeting, you have to fill out that tag, and then we can have a separate predefined filter like, okay, this is the 37 issues we want to talk about on the next meeting, which is really great. And this is all the issues that are connected to the sprints. So if you want to look at issues for the 4th sprint, you can just click on this predefined preset to get this filter out automatically. And also the changes, all the change IDs and so on. And also is a tag called BIM-crap. So this is stuff that's fly around in the model. It's only 2 stuff right now. So this predefined filters is great to get along quickly, to see everything in the project. And also I think a huge advantage of using Revisto is that everything looks the same, that you have the same look on all your issues, the same fonts, the same colors, everything is the same. Otherwise you will be in Paint, you will be in Bluebeam, or you'll be in a lot of different tools for doing the markups. So just to have a consistent look of everything is, I think, is pretty valuable. So on. Okay, great. And yeah, it's a 3D section. This is where we are at with 3D models. And you saw the issue tracker up here. This is where we communicate and when we see stuff. And there's the 2D drawings that are being included in Revisto. So as soon as we are done with the sprint, we add those drawings inside Revisto. So here we have everything. You can also see, you can go back to this one. Let's see. So when you're also going from Revit directly into Revisto, you can, everything is hyperlinked. You can click on stuff to move to that section or move to that floor. It's really good. You can also have this is a wow tool. I would think say a lot of people goes wow when they see this. Me, I also did it first time. That overlay function from 2D to 3D is always great to get a better understanding where we're at in the project. All right, let's see. So that's the main part, the 2D, 3D, and the issue tracker. And this is also, I think, why people, the learning curve is so short. That's the 3 parts you have in Revisto, the 2D, the 3D, and the issues. It's nothing harder than that. And then you have complementary tools down here, like the section and so on. I think I'm going to finish off by creating some stamps to you, Rhys. And so let's see if it works. So you're invited to the project. So here are the stamps. Let's see if we can find something that looks wrong in the project. I'm going to go with the little section here. Maybe up here. Maybe we have something up here. I don't know. Let's say we find something. Oh, actually, this doesn't look good. We can't have it looking like that. So I want to communicate this to the Rhys, and maybe first of all, I would just use the stamp tool to kind of highlight this object and put a title on it and send it to Rhys instantly. But maybe I'm doing a bigger reviewing session, and I'm especially looking for problems with the MEP and the architectural model. So let's create a stamp that highlights all these data at the same time. So here are the predefined stamps that we have in the project. So if we would have this stamp already, I would just click here, click it out, and the data will be fill in without me having to do it all the time. But I'm going to create a new stamp actually. So let's call it RL, Rhys Lewis, and this is a test. And I'm going to create a new category here that's called webinar. So I'm creating a whole new category of stamps that are for this webinar, and it's for Rhys Lewis, and it's a test stamp. So and here's the template. So I think Rhys is going to have a yellow color. It's going to have the priority is always critical when it comes to Rhys here. The signee, let's see if we can find Rhys. Pretty much people here. Yeah, Rhys Lewis, all right. And also maybe, I want to be a watcher of everything Rhys is doing. And the public is public, absolutely. And the tags.
BIM-craft maybe.
BIM-craft or
yeah,
something.
I'll take care of all of that.
Yeah, and we're in the third sprint now, so everything we have to do is in the third sprint.
Got it.
Okay, nice. There we have the stamp. Let's start reviewing. I can find that this is not looking good. I'm going to add a stamp here. And yeah, let's go down here. Yeah, the webinar category is down here. Let's see, Rhys Lewis stamp. I'm clicking on that. Bam. So there's a stamp. I get everything filled out for me. So this is obviously pretty easy to see what's wrong. The pipes cannot go there. But if you want to complement this with a markup, you can also do that by clicking the markup here and also highlight it, or maybe even write something. Let's see, this is wrong. So like that. And you can also attach images, and if you would have an iPad, you can actually take a screenshot with the camera at the site or something and attach this to the project. Yeah, let's see. Okay, Rhys shared something here.
Yeah, so on that already, but I need some help. So yeah, we're okay. Collaborating now in real time, right? So
yeah, okay, great. And it's in progress. Great, looking good. Just another thing that I mentioned user rights. So one thing we have done is that all the disciplines can use the open, in progress, and sold, and but only me and the project leader can use the closed. So we're the only one that can archive this the issue. So what Rhys can do is that he can say, I've sold this. This is done, and then me or the project leader can archive this issue when we feel okay, this is done, and it's not everyone doesn't have to see it anymore. So that easy, it's that easy to actually communicate. So that are the predefined. That's called stamps, and these are the common issues. Then you have to fill out the data yourself, but it also runs pretty quickly. Yeah, I think that's probably.
Let's take. I think it's important to mention at this point is, as you know, however many people are in the project, whenever they're creating issues or adding stamps, the dashboards are getting updated in real time, right? So I don't know if you got a dashboard that we could.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. So here are the dashboards. This is some dashboards I've been using to keeping track that everything is moving on. We have 946 issues closed at the moment. That's for the coordination. This is for each sprint. So this is looking pretty good. We have 484 issues that are closed for the first, and that we have moved on from that sprint, so it should look like this. We're currently starting up the coordination in the third sprint down here, so this is gonna grow quite much in the coming weeks. Yeah, and see how it moves. And this is how much issues each user has at the moment. You can see how many issues for each discipline. So this is architectural, this is structural guys here, or the prefabrication timber guys, the ventilation, sprinklers, and so on. So you can see how are they currently looking at their issues at the moment. And this is, you can add so many dashboards. You can add a lot of parameters to create your dashboards. I'm using a few of these. I think this is giving me much value. As I said, I also added this inside the Revisto just for fun. Let's see where we have those. Yeah, down here. So this is the side cabin, which I put down into the project. So if you want to see how the project is moving on, you can follow it here.
The dashboard is the Revisto project. That's
yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. And this is the last thing, as I mentioned with the stamps, the sheet of communication. If you are using Revisto at the moment, I think this is a great way for me to show you how to use Revisto to communicate. So these are predefined stamps, as you learned by now. So this is a stamp. When I click this stamp out here for a Monday, when I update the model, everyone will get a notification inside Revisto. and I don't have to answer any emails or send any emails. So everything is getting out here from Revisto. All right. Yeah, I think that's the last thing I want to show you. Do you have some questions?
I was just going to say, actually, that great overview, Chris, and I've certainly learned some interesting uses of Revisto just by listening to you. So thank you very much for that. And you've got lots of questions. So the first one, let's have a quick look. If I pull up the questions here. So now is time for questions. If you have any, then just for those of you who haven't yet asked, put those into the chat box. Whilst we're at this point, we are actually hosting another webinar well, the date is to be confirmed, but you'll get sent back from our marketing team in the next couple of weeks. That focus is actually going to be facility management using Revisto, and Chris, and maybe we'll have a few of your colleagues join us again for that webinar. So excited to learn more about what you and the team are doing in that space. Our email addresses are on the slide now, so make note of those. And if you have any Revisto specific questions, you can send those to me. Or if you want to let Chris know how great his job has been today, then you have his email address there as well. So let's jump to it. We have some questions here. Where are we? Point cloud. So does Revisto support point clouds, and have you thought about using that data for verification?
Yes, Revisto support point clouds. I can move into Revisto again. So for this project, this is a new project. We don't have any point clouds in here since it's new, but of course you can use a point cloud for, let's see where we have point clouds. Is it here maybe?
Yeah, project import.
Yeah, project import, exactly. So after you imported the point clouds, you can import it here. You can end up tweaking the point cloud here for the size and distance of points and so on. Yeah, this is a new project, so we're not using point clouds for this, but we have been using point clouds for some other projects. So it's working, definitely. And I think it's so good. A lot of softwares are like, not closing doors, but almost closing doors to formats. But what's great about Revisto is that it's so open for a lot of formats. Everything from, of course, Revit and IFC, Tekla, ArchiCAD, even to point clouds. That's insanely good. Yeah, it supports point clouds, definitely.
Yeah, and I can show some examples of that if we have time. We only have 5 minutes left, so if anyone's interested in seeing more of that, then yeah, I can certainly show you that. How did you engage the client? Is there a free viewer, or did you give them access to your license?
Yeah, great question. What we did is that all these people that are involved in this project are on our license server, the White Arkitekter license server. So all these 52 people are on our server. So that's the way we sold everything with Revisto. I think there's a numerous way of doing this. You can invite everyone to your own server. You can create a new contract, a new server for a specific project. Maybe that's another way of doing it. Yeah, so the client is on White Arkitekter's licenses for this project.
Does Revisto have any form of switchback?
Like revisions?
I think that's probably related from the issue tracker back to the authoring software. So when somebody's assigned an issue, if they double click on the issue box, that will take them exactly to where that issue is in their Revit model, Tekla model. So I don't know if you've covered that. I don't think you mentioned that. So
no, I don't mention that. Yeah, exactly. So when you have your designing software up or at the same time as Revisto, you're going to have this little arrow, I think, so you can click on that, and you are Revit or Tekla are creating a 3D view with the issue at the same place and zoomed in, so you can move back and forth from Revisto for the issue. Am I right, Rhys?
Yeah, perfect. Just a couple of thoughts have come to mind, some more information worthwhile sharing. So if you switch back to the 3D view, then just double click on one of the objects. I think it's good for people to know that the data associated with those objects will come through regardless if it's from Tekla, IFC, Revit, and so on and so forth. So it's an information model. Now you can see the sort of speed and how fast Chris is moving around you. You just imagine you can now deliver this project to pretty much anybody on an iPad. So what I'm finding is very, very powerful is we're seeing our clients engage more of the project team because they now don't have to be a BIM person, a Revit user, or a Celebri user. You can deliver them the project.
Hello, Rhys.
Hello, hello. Happening. Okay, so you can hear me. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, okay, cool. So I think Rhys is off. I can't hear Rhys also. I don't know what Rhys said at the end, but yeah, I think we're gonna probably end this webinar right now. Let's see if Rhys comes back. I just want to show you how quickly everything runs with this much geometry, this much data in the project. So here you can see all the MAPs in the project, everything moving soft, very softly. It's so great. It doesn't require that much of a computer to run this. And as Rhys also said, it works on an iPad also. So you can bring it on the site or at home or wherever you are, on train or something.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, now you're back, Rhys.
My audio cut out for some reason, so apologies for that. Well, we're hitting the 1 o'clock mark now, so what I'd encourage people to do is if you just come back to the thank you screen now with our contact details. Yeah. So the session has been recorded. We'll share this with you all in the next couple of days with a link to download and view the session again. And at this point, I'd like to extend the thanks again, specifically to yourself, Chris, and the team and the great work you're doing on this project. Looking forward to visiting and hopefully getting up sooner rather than later to see the view from the top of that crane. But yeah, apart from that, thank you everybody else for dialing in, and we hope to see you in our next webinar, Facility Management using Revisto, again with Chris and myself and maybe some others. So thank you. And we look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Any questions? Our details are on the screen now. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.